All right, let's start. Today we're going to talk about the statistical laws that describe the behavior of words, the occurrence of words in documents. And the reason we're talking about words is, remember the last lecture, we talked about how words are a basic unit which we're going to use to represent text. An individual word captures enough of a meaning to serve as a building block for representation. And once we put multiple words into a same bag, we retain the context in which the words occurred in the documents. So we have our little example again with two news stories. Both stories talk about the stars and single stars versus double stars and how some stars lose their companions. And if you look at the documents, there is not much in terms of string overlap between them. They're written using different sentences. But individual words co-occur across the two documents. So, for example, the word stars occurs 4 times in the first story and twice in the second story. The word single occurs in the first story and the second story. The word triple or trios occurs in both stories. So that's what we're going to use later in the course to build similarity functions between the documents. But for now, we just want to get some handle on how the words are distributed in text. And we will have 3 statistical laws that we'll talk about today. We'll talk about Zipf's law. Zipf's law tells us how many frequent and infrequent words we will have in our data set. We'll talk about Heap's law, and Heap's law is the law that governs how quickly new words appear in text. And then we'll talk briefly about Polya's urn, and that has to do with the contagious or clumpy nature of word occurrences. So the fact that words don't just occur individually. Once a word happens to occur in text, it's much more likely to be repeated again and again.